Hello and welcome to the video. This video is the first in what I hope will be a series. I'll be teaching you how to build by building things, which I think is the best way to learn. Today's project is crude, but it works, and the best thing is it will cost you absolutely nothing in upload fees, so anyone can do it. Make sure you grab the 2 items that you need from Second Life Marketplace. They're both free. Log into Second Life, then click one of the links in the description below the video. Log into Marketplace using your avatar name that you log into Second Life with. Then buy it for 0 linden and wait for delivery. Once it's arrived, repeat for the second item. Then you're all set. You'll need somewhere to build, of course. Radio Spiral group members can build on the parcel, but please clean up after yourselves. Everyone else can use a sandbox. There are loads in Second Life. Just type in sandbox into the world map, choose one and teleport there. This project is for absolute beginners to building. These projects will get more complicated as we go along. The point is to offer videos that will expand your skills as you go. Join in when we've reached your level, and I'll join yours when you've surpassed me. So here's my alt on the roof of our staff house, with a building grid. Let's see if she can manage to build a stool. First of all, you'll need to make sure you can build easily. You can go to the top menu and press Build, then Build, or you can add a Build button to your interface. I find it easier to have the button there. To add the button, right-click on any icon at the bottom of your screen and choose Toolbar Buttons. Then find the Build button and drag it down to the edge of the screen, anywhere that's highlighted in blue. Now we need to set up the build menu to make it easy before we start building. I build by snapping to the world grid. That may not mean anything to you right now, but for anyone watching who's done some building, they may understand why I'm not doing things their way. I'm going to make sure that the grid is arranged at intervals that suit this build. The default tends to be pretty big. Again, don't worry if this doesn't mean anything to you, just follow along. Click the button or menu to build. Your cursor will become a magic wand icon by default. Click your cursor on the ground. A plywood box will appear on the ground and a dialog box will open. The box is 1 prim and has 1 land impact. Don't worry about this now, but you'll need to know about prims and land impact later. Not in this tutorial though. The dialog box is where you can set up the grid so it snaps at reasonable intervals. Look at the dialog box. At the top right, you'll see a button that's checked by default called Snap. Next to it is an arrow. Click the arrow. Another box appears. At the top it says units, meters, and by default is set to 0.5. We're going to change that to 0.25. All you have to do is type that in the box. Then you can close that box down. When building, it's good practice to label every part of your build. We're going to start by building the stool legs, so let's call this box leg. Just type over the default object name that it starts with. Our stool is going to have cylindrical legs, so we'll need to make this box cylindrical. Here's how we do that. Look at the dialog box you have open and notice there are some tabs about a third of the way down. You'll be on the General tab. You need to go to the Object tab. When you've done this, you'll see there is a drop-down menu about a third of the way down on the top right. It will say Box. Click on it and change it to Cylinder. Now we have a cylinder, but it's not very leg-shaped. Let's make it a better size for a stool leg. First of all, it needs to be a lot less chunky, so we'll change the size. We could do this by stretching, but that will be too fiddly in this case, so we'll type the size right into the dialog box. Look at the dialog box about half the way up, and you'll see a set of figures which say size. They will be set at the default, which is x equals 0.5, y equals 0.5, and z equals 0.5. X, Y and Z are the 3 dimensions. If you look at the coloured arrows on your cylinder, you can see X is red, Y is green and Z is blue. If you can't see any arrows, you've clicked off your cylinder. Just click back on it again. If you've lost your dialog box too, then right-click the cylinder and choose Edit. Now type in the following sizes. Make X 0.1, Y 0.1, and we'll leave Z as it is for now. To see the change in size, when you type in the last figure, just click on any other box. We don't do anything else. Now you can see it's a better size for a stool leg, although it's way too short. We'll fix that next. To resize the height, we're going to use stretch, so we can easily snap it to the world grid. At the top of your dialog box, you'll see some radio buttons. The Move button will be highlighted. We need to click the Stretch button. Do that first. Now, as we're only going to stretch the leg up, make sure that you do not have the Stretch Both Sides checkbox checked. It's at the top right. If it's checked, uncheck it. Now we can stretch the leg. Make sure you're zoomed into your build. You can do this by holding down Alt and left mouse button. Get up close so you can see what you're doing. You'll notice that it's not sunny anymore. I've changed the scene to midnight because I want you to be able to clearly see the grid. You'll see what I mean in a moment. We're going to make the leg 1 metre tall. You'll see that there are coloured boxes on your cylinder and some white ones, which we're not going to touch right now. We'll left click the top blue one, which will change the height, and we'll carefully drag it up. You'll notice when you click on it that some white lines appear. These are grid measurements. Drag the blue box up until it reaches the 1 metre mark, then move your cursor to the right. You'll see it click into place. It will then be exactly 1 metre tall. Now we'll align the leg to the grid, so when we make the other 3, they will all be equally spaced. Go back to the dialog box and choose the Move radio button at the top left. You'll see the coloured boxes are now arrows. We need to align the leg to the X and Y axis, which is left, right and back, forward. To do this, we'll first click on the green arrow, which is the Y axis. Left click and hold so you can see the grid lines as before, then move it to the nearest grid line. It doesn't matter what measurement this says, it will vary depending on where you are building and doesn't affect what we're doing. Now we'll do the same with the red arrow. Can around to make it easy for yourself. Now the leg is snapped to the grid. Now to make the other 3 legs. Don't worry, it's going to be very easy. You can simply copy this leg. First of all, make sure your radio button is still on Move. To make a copy, you hold down Shift and drag the leg to the side. Save time by snapping it to a major white line. I suggest one that's 2 lines apart, as I've done here. Once you've got the second leg, we're going to link them together so they move together. Linking is an essential part of building. Here's how you link them. You're already clicked on one leg. Now hold down Shift and click on the other one. Look at your dialog box. About a third of the way down you'll see a button with Link on it. Press that. They're now joined. Now we can copy these 2 legs in the same way. Left click and hold Shift, then drag the legs out, aligning them to the grid as before, 2 lines apart from the first legs. Now let's link all 4 to make sure they don't end up being moved separately by accident. Click on the pair of legs that you are not already clicked on, holding Shift while you do it. Then click the Link button. Done. Now for the seat. I'm going to make a round seat with a cushion on it. Click your Build menu and res a box. Label it Seat. Go to the Object menu and change from Box to Cylinder. Now change the sizes as follows. Change X to 0.8, Y to 0.8 and Z to 0.2. Now the seat will fit on top of the legs. You can move the seat using the arrows. Just drag it around until it's over the legs. If you look, you'll see you can align it perfectly in the middle using the grid. Now link the seat to the legs so it's fixed in place. I've made it sunny again. I want you to see the wood on our build prims for this, and it was a bit dark for that at midnight. You know how to use the grid by now and what the lines look like, so I think we're okay. Now for the cushion. For this we'll use a flattened sphere. Go to your Build menu as before and res a box. Change the box to a sphere in the Object tab. Now we'll need to rotate the sphere. The reason for this is because if we use it as it is now, it will not look very good when we texture it. If you look very carefully at the wood texture on the sphere, you'll see the grain runs towards one part of it. It's that part that needs to be at the top. Go to your dialog box and at the top left you'll see a radio button with Rotate on it. Click that. You'll now see that your sphere has some circles surrounding it. These allow you to rotate it. We're going to use the green circle in order to get that grain texture up on the top. Watch me and you'll see what I mean. Now we need to squash the sphere down a bit. Go to the Object tab if you're not already on it and change the sizes as follows. X equals 0.2, Y equals 0.75 and Z equals 0.75. Now move the cushion so it sits on the seat and is aligned in the centre by using the grid. Finally, link the cushion to the stool. Now we have a stool, but it's not very pretty. We'll texture the stool next, so it looks better. All the textures we'll be using are already in your inventory. Look for the library folder, it's just under trash. You can use any textures from there that you like, or any others you may have, but I'm going to use cherry for the wood and satin for the cushion, because I'm a satin kind of gal. As the whole stool is linked, it will be easier to do the wood first. Don't worry that this will also make the cushion wood, because we'll change it in a moment. Look at your dialog box and you'll see that there is a texture tab to the right of the object tab, about a third of the way down the dialog box. Click on that. Now find the textures folder in library and then go to the wood folder. Choose a texture and drag it across to the texture box on your dialog box that is currently showing a wood texture. There, now your stool is all wood. If you don't like the wood you chose, simply choose another and drag it to the same place. Next we'll do the cushion. To texture the cushion, we have to edit, so we select just the cushion. As the whole thing is linked, you can't just click on the cushion and drag a texture. It will texture all of the stool. So we need to enable Edit Linked so that we can select just the cushion prim. Look at your dialog box. On the top left there are the move and stretch buttons amongst others. The one at the bottom of that column is Edit Linked. Check that box. Then click on the cushion. You'll see that your arrows move because you are now only working on the cushion. Go to the Texture tab if you're not already on it, then drag a texture of your choice from the library. I suggest something in the Fabric menu. When you've done this, uncheck Edit Linked so that you don't end up moving parts by mistake. And now you have a stool. Just for clarity, you may want to title your finished object Stool. It's probably called Leg or something, depending on the last thing you linked. To be tidy, we should really link the cushion last, but we can get tidy in another video. Now we'll put a pose in the seat. We'll do this by using the Magic Sit system and pose that you picked up on Marketplace. Unbox them and off we go. First of all, edit your stool so that the dialog box is open, unless it already is. Go to the tab that says Content, which is about a third of the way down and on the far right. Now find your animation and drag it into the box. Go to your Magic Sit folder and drag in the Magic Sit script. Close the dialog box. Wait for the script to say it's ready. Now drag the Magic Sit cube from your inventory to somewhere above the stool. It doesn't really matter too much where. Sit on the cube by right-clicking and choosing Sit Pose. It will ask to animate your avatar. Click Yes. Now right-click and edit the stretched out cube. Move the stretched cube using the arrows until your avatar is placed on the stool exactly as you would want him or her to be. Now stand up when you're done. Right-click on the stretch out magic sit cube and either take or delete it. Open up the dialog box on your stool and choosing the Content tab, drag in the Magic Sit Anim script. Give it a moment and then try a sit. You should be sitting perfectly on your stool. I do hope you all managed to make a fat, comfy stool and you're sitting pretty on it. If you have any problems, please leave a comment below with your in-world avatar name and I'll try to help you correct any errors. If you did succeed, comments are still appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe too, so that you'll know when the next video is uploaded and can follow the series. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.